Let's explore this official GMAT problem. First, pause the video and choose the correct answer yourself. The correct answer is A. There are lots of starting points for a sentence correction problem like this one, but I want to focus on the word and. This is a marker word that tells us there's probably some kind of parallelism going on in the sentence. To get a better idea of what that means, let's look at this simple example. If I give you the sentence, she likes swimming and to run, it probably feels awkward. The word swimming is not quite consistent with the words to run. And indeed, in the GMAT, they think this is very important. This sentence would be incorrect because it's not parallel. The sentence, she likes swimming and running, sounds better to most people. The words swimming and running are parallel, it's more consistent, it sounds more balanced, and that would be correct in the GMAT. So, in the structure X and Y should be the same kind of words. Of course, we can refine this later, but that is the basic idea of parallelism. Oh, and by the way, the sentence, she likes to swim and to run, would also be correct. Back to our problem. In answer A, we can see and is joining together giving pure water with something else in the sentence. And if we look carefully, we can find the word moderating temperature. That sounds parallel to me. Let's leave it for now. Moving on to answer B, we've got another parallel structure at the beginning of the sentence, covering and playing. And this is an opening modifier, which we can leave out for the moment, and look at the next part, the oceans moderate. Wait a minute, that is not parallel with and giving. Answer choice B is not correct. Answer choice C also has a parallel structure, the oceans cover and play. So far so good. The problem is then we have and by moderating. What's that going to join together with? Answer choice C is incorrect. Answer choice D has a list at the beginning. The oceans, number 1, cover, number 2, play, number 3, moderate. So far so good, until we come to the words and giving later on in the sentence, which is not parallel to anything else in the sentence. Finally, answer choice E. Here we have a modifier playing between 2 commas, which we can leave out, and we can see what's being linked together. The oceans cover and they moderate. The word they is incorrect here, even before we get to the and giving later on in the sentence. Therefore, the only answer that passes our parallelism test is answer choice A, and that's the correct answer. Just to consolidate our understanding of parallelism, let's look carefully at the correct answer. I talked about and being a marker word for parallelism, and it's important to remember that before we start looking for parallelism, we want to make sure that it actually applies in the sentence. What other parallel marker words can you think of? I'm sure you know some. Second, we looked for the things which are parallel. I'm going to call these the parallel items. And these are the words or phrases that need to be balanced, that need to be the same kind of thing in the sentence. And finally, I'm going to talk about the root phrase. This is kind of the beginning of the list, and it needs to fit logically with each of the elements. In this case, moderating and giving, these are comma ing modifiers. They're giving information about the clause which comes before. In fact, in this case, they're describing how the oceans play an essential role. So far, so good. That makes sense. However, you may have some doubts about this word maintaining, and perhaps you're thinking that there are 3 items in the list. You could interpret the sentence like this: maintaining, moderating, and giving. What's wrong with that? Well, nothing dramatically, but I actually think that this is not as good as my interpretation. Here we have the root phrase, the oceans play an essential role in number 1, maintaining, number 2, moderating, number 3, giving. Sure, they're all ing words, but it's not quite as logical. Maintaining, moderating, and giving, they're not quite all in the same category. For the reason that I explained, I think that moderating and giving are ways that the oceans play an essential role in maintaining the conditions for human existence on land. Those two items are describing the clause before, and therefore I think this interpretation is the correct one. But note how the GMAT avoids that. That whole discussion we had was a little bit academic. Whichever interpretation of the two you choose, answer choice A is the only correct one. So, go and practice. Check the link below for some follow-up tasks.